28.
28.
28 piccolos.
30.
30 clarinets.
31.
31.
31 trumpets.
22.
22.
22 mellophones.
11 baritones.
23.
23. 23 alto saxes. 12.
12 tenor saxes.
27.
27 drummers.
2 majorettes.
11 trombones.
4.
4.
4 drum majors.
13. 13 tubas.
16. 16. 16 color guard. This
This
is the pride of the ACC.
Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another edition of the Pride of the ACC. My name is Adam Pohl. Happy to have you with us. We've made it to our second edition. That's always a good sign. You got to get through the pilot version, and now we're on to round number 2. But we're going to be with you here throughout this semester, and so happy to be so. I've got the Director of University Bands, Jeff Fuchs, with me again, as always. And Jeff, it's been a wild week on campus at Carolina. We talked in episode 1 about all of the restrictions on the Marching Tar Heels going into this tough semester at Carolina. And now, unfortunately, COVID has been prevalent in the news. It's become, a big story even nationwide as far as the outbreaks, not just at Carolina, but around the country.
Yeah, Adam, gosh, our administrative team on campus and the roadmap team, they did a great job of putting together a plan that they thought, and we all thought, would get us through the semester safely. And this week, the plan it didn't work. There was, when you have young people, they're going to be young people. And it started out with a few clusters in the dorm, and that grew. And pretty soon it was to the point where it forced the hand, and the decision was made to go fully remote for all undergraduates in the middle of the week. And so the campus is still sorting out as far as who's going to stay on campus, but most of the students are returning to their homes. And as I said, all the classes are going remote. So we had 3 great rehearsals with the guard and drum line. And now we'll finish the semester online with them. And, still hope we can get a valuable semester, but it is too bad.
Yeah, it really is. Obviously, we're going to be celebrating those that work with the band, those that are in the band, and our alumni here through these shows this semester. But for you, Jeff, I mean, it is going to be a semester like none other, isn't it? Because the students are the lifeblood of the university.
Yeah, they really are. And, in a way, this will be a great way to stay connected with them, because at least once a week we'll get to see our staff members. We'll get to see the kids doing what they do. And fortunately, we had the time together that they were able to gather some pictures and get to know each other and develop those relationships that can now remain active over Zoom and other platforms. And so, I'd certainly hope with the show that we would see them in action, but we'll still see them being who they are. It'll just be in a little modified format. And that's the theme of the year. Everything's modified.
And I know I did when I was a student in the band, but it's such a strong bond and community. And, back in my day, you had to make like a long distance phone call from home to talk to somebody. And parents would yell at you if you're on the phone more than 10 minutes because of how much it costs. I mean, obviously, our students can stay in touch a lot better than in my years in the late 90s in the Marching Tar Heels.
Yeah, and I think the video component has added so much too. It's not just a voice on the other end now between FaceTime and Facebook video and certainly Zoom. I know even with our own granddaughter, it's so nice just to be part of their lives in their living room and seeing people, not just hearing voices. So I'm sure the kids will stay in touch, and the visual aspect I think is a huge benefit right now.
You know, in our first show, we were able to celebrate two members of the UNC marching band community that have been around for a long time. Becca Clemens, who's been a section working with the low brass and low woodwinds after being a student in the band with the Marching Tar Heels. And then, of course, Matt Savage, who was running the drum line for more than 2 decades. And today, in our staff highlight, we're going to look, or staff Heelight, I guess we're calling it. We're going to look at Jeff Richardson. We don't really know him as Jeff Richardson, though. He's JR to us, and he's been a part of this organization for a long, long time.
Yeah, you know, JR predates my involvement with the organization. I remember meeting him when I first came on board with the Marching Tar Heels, and he's always been there. He's one of those people that anticipates every move. And sometimes even before you realize you need it, JR is there with it. And he's come over for many years and just helped out. One of his prime roles with us is he's our visiting band host for many years. So he meets the visiting band at their bus, brings them to the stadium, stays with them during the game, gets them back to their buses. And it's a great service to us. And it's also a wonderful resource for visiting bands that they have somebody there with them the whole time they're on campus. And now he's actually on our staff, and he works with our alto saxes and mellophones. And boy, I tell you, just can't. He's also, I gotta say, he's also a big part of our family. You know, my personal family. When we moved out here, we were quite a ways from our biological family in Missouri, and JR took us on, and he's like an uncle to my daughter. We celebrated many Christmas times with his family, and so he's a special friend not only to the program but to our family particularly.
That's wonderful. So let's check in now with JR.
Believe it or not, I've been involved with the band for almost 30 years. It goes all the way back to 1992 or 1993. And at that time, Matt Savage, who you interviewed in episode 1, was working with the drum line at Carolina. And when Dr. Heil, who was the previous band director, were there, they were looking to expand their color guard. And Matt had told them about my color guard instructors at Broughton High School in Raleigh, where I taught for 34 years. And so one night, Dr. Heil and Matt came over, watched my guard instructors work, and it was a match made in heaven. And from that day forward, I've always been involved with the band. And the job description has changed through the years. I'm now a host. Anytime that a visiting band may come to Chapel Hill, it's my job to take them from the parking lot to the stadium, make sure they have seats, that kind of stuff. And it takes a lot of the responsibility and the headache off of the UNC band staff, because obviously, you know, having been a band person, everything that goes into a game day. It no doubt has meant a lot in my career. I retired 8 years ago from high school, and still being connected in the activity and still being involved, working with students. And college kids are great. They teach you new slang terms, and they're great for helping you fix your cell phone when you can't figure out how to do it yourself with all the new technology that comes across the screen every single day. And it's so enjoyable just to be around them. No matter what kind of day you've had, they always brighten your day. Because you know as well as I do, band students in general, regardless of their age, high school, college, they're the pulse of everything going on and always have been that way. You know what's going on when you're around them. And it's so enjoyable to be involved with UNC that I've just looked forward to it every fall, and I look forward for many falls to come. If it's not fun, why are you doing it? Because there has to be a fun aspect to everything you're doing. And I've always tried to do that, even at the university level, when you walk into a rehearsal, you know, trying to have fun. One of the trademarks of me at Carolina is I always wear cutoff t-shirts at rehearsals. That's just something I do. You know, because I feel like I have more flexibility and freedom. Well, at least once or twice a year, I've been in charge of alto saxes and mellophones. They all show up in cut-off t-shirts. and they call it the JR Day, and it makes you feel welcome to notice that they're saying thank you in their own little way. You just forget about it because you've seen them for so long and they've been part of the band family, shall we say, that when they do graduate, it's kind of it hurts a little bit, because now it hurts, but at the same time, you're excited for them because now they're moving on to the next chapter of their life. It's been nice having them around to help continue the excellence of the program, to move the program forward, and you thank them for that, but then you also hope that they're just as successful, whether it's doctor, lawyer, whatever they're going to do, whatever degrees they're going to follow, and they follow their dreams, and they're very happy with that too. It's great to see some of them when they come back on football weekends, just to catch up and find out, what have you been doing? How are things going? So it's always a great thing. And you do kind of miss some of them when they all do graduate. I haven't really had a chance to get to know the alto saxes and the mellophones much this year. Of course, we were having camp, and of course they got canceled, but we continued with activities since they were on campus. But it looked to be a very, very good section for both of them. And they wanted to be a part of a good activity on campus, And like I said, we had the opportunity during camp to meet with all of them and hang out with them as much as you could. And it was kind of sad on the last day when we had to completely shut it down to see them go away, because like you said, some of these seniors will not have that opportunity, nor will you see them again. And the same thing happened last spring when there was no band banquet. You didn't get to say goodbye to them before they left. But as I told them, the glass is half full, and we will get through this, and we will meet again somewhere.
Well, we welcome you back here to the Pride of the ACC. My name is Adam Pohl. We just took a look at Jeff Richardson, and now let's move forward. This is it's going to be a labor of love. Let's put it that way. As far as our group that's putting this show together, we're one show in. This show number 2, and Jeff, you assembled this crew here together. We've got Samantha DeColey with us here, but tell us a little bit about not just me, but those others behind the scene, because I'm telling you, when people heard that I was going to be a part of this, you knew that you had to put together quite a team for the rest of the show because you were already behind, out of the gate.
Yeah, we had some ground to make up with you involved, Adam, but no, it was a brainchild, and the first one I called actually was Rachel Pedigo. Rachel was a drum major last year for us and a media major, did a lot with video editing, and I knew that the key piece of this was going to be getting the video editing done. So once Rachel was on board, I made the call to you and got you involved. Samantha had done great work for us with social media when she was a student and in charge of our social media team. A lot of our alums will remember the Give UNC campaign that she spearheaded for us, and did such a great job. And then just after the first episode, we've added another video editor, and Michael Coe. Michael is another 2019 graduate who also has a degree in video or communications and specialized in video editing. So the 4 of you all are making this dream come true, and it's a great team of all former students, and it is a labor of love, and a labor that we really appreciate.
Well, Samantha, tell us a little bit. We've got Samantha with us about, obviously those that are watching this show can find it, but there are many different places to find the program each week.
Yeah, so the main places that you can find the show are on social media. So our Facebook, which is @bands@UNC, Twitter, which is @UNC_bands, and then Instagram on IGTV, which is also @UNC_bands. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is also UNC Bands, and check out the playlist, which is called The Pride of the ACC, where each new episode will be uploaded.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Samantha. And I know that you had a great career in the band, in the clarinet section. We're going to be featuring the rivals of the clarinets, right? We're going to be featuring, Jeff, the alto saxophones. And I know this year the altos have brought a lot of spirit to the band here out of the gate.
Yeah, they're always a fun section to work with, and the 3 section of the leaders this year are doing a great job getting them together. I've seen a couple times they've had picnics on the quad already, and they had a great time during band camp. So let's meet the alto saxes.
Hi, my name is Joe Figliolo. I'm a junior from Wilmington, North Carolina, majoring in music education with a minor in conflict management, and I'm one of the alto captains this year.
Hi, my name's Cameron Kepley. I'm a senior majoring in psychology and minoring in education, and I'm so excited to be one of the alto saxophone section captains this year.
Hi, I'm Kendra Ratliff, a senior history and political science double major from Indian Trail, North Carolina. We are proud to be the alto saxophone section captains for the 2020 season.
One of my favorite parts about being an alto is that our section is super involved in all aspects of band. Our section consistently shows up in large numbers to all of the pep band events, even the ones we aren't assigned to. This section has such passion for supporting Tar Heel athletics, and it makes games even more fun to be a part of. Altos always represent at MTH volunteer events, cooking at the Ronald McDonald House, sorting food with Table, and helping out at the SECU House. I love these events because they're a great time to help out and get to know the altos better.
In our section, we have 7 first years, 5 sophomores, 6 juniors, and 6 seniors for a grand total of 23 members. Our members are from places like New York, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and North Carolina. The majors in our section range from HCFS and education to media and journalism to many different STEM majors such as physics, math, and biology. We may be from many different areas and major in different fields, but we all come together to create music with the Marching Tar Heels.
One of the most important traditions for our section is our Alto Uno call and response that we do on game days and at the end of every rehearsal. Normally we would stand in a circle with our arms around each other's shoulders, but this year at band camp we made sure to have plenty of space in between us. On game days, the altos always bring a lot of energy, whether we're doing horn swings or section-specific additions to the dances for drumline cadences. You can always count on the person next to you in the alto section to bring just as much energy as you do so you don't look crazy.
Well, we've had a show heavy here on the alto saxes with JR, and then that great look at our alto saxophone section here for this 2020 season. Let's take a look in the Wayback Machine, though. I've made a lot of jokes about my being so much older than the others working on this show, Jeff, here. But we're going to talk to somebody that really goes back in the program, and not back to the Heil era, but even further back to the John Yesulaitis era. Major Y, the man, he conducted me in the band. I mean, on one of the big homecoming days, I remember that. I think it was my freshman year. Might have been out just about every year I was in the band. And we're going to talk to Allen Reep here from that era in the Marching Tar Heels.
Yeah, Allen is a big part of the history of the Marching Tar Heels. He started with the band. He was at the university for many years, and he was Major Y's right-hand man. Mm-hmm. The whole time Major Y was here, the Major was here from 64 to 89. And while I don't think Allen was here the whole time, he was here for a big piece of that, and even stayed on a little bit into the transition. But he's been a valuable resource to me, filling in some of the historical gaps that I wasn't sure of from that era. He's brought lots of things over. I have his briefcase. Some of our alums will remember the briefcase that Allen carried the money in. And I actually have that in my office. There was no money left in it. I got to talk to Allen about that.
Come on.
I do have I know, really? But I do have the briefcase that the money was always carried in. And we even have an award named after Allen. Many years ago, we created the Allen Reep Award that is given to a former member of the band who contributes greatly to the organization throughout their life. And Chuck Williams got it. We've awarded Justin Tillett. So there's been several alums who have stayed involved in the program long beyond their graduation that we've recognized with the Allen Reep Award.
Jeff, one of the great things about the Marching Tar Heels and why it's so beloved by not just those that are in the band or alumni of it, but by all the students and fans of the school is that, you know, so many things that are played, they go down through the years. I mean, back to that Major Y era, so many things, especially in pregame whether it's certain fight songs or certain things that the band do. I mean, it goes back, even the things that are being done now, back to that era.
Yeah, and some of the things we do now, the kids don't even know why we do them. That's been a focus the last several years, is that, some of them don't even know why we're called the Pride of the ACC.
Right.
For many years, I think a lot of time alumnus here was called Band of Champions. And then at the Peach Bowl one year, one of the Atlanta Journal writers made a comment, and a quote in the paper was, "You can certainly tell why the Carolina Band is the pride of the ACC." And it stuck. And so we've tried to gather as much of that information as we can and pass it on to the students so they know why we do some of the things we do and where it came from, that it's not a one-time deal, that it has its roots, as you say, some back as far as the 60s and the 70s, that the band's been doing it that long.
Really amazing. So let's go down memory lane here with Allen Reep.
I came, I auditioned with the major, and the rest is history. I was a drummer for 4 years. And then after I graduated, the major asked me to kind of stay on. So from 1972, the fall of 72, until the fall through 1990, I was the unpaid, sometimes paid, part-time assistant director. But it was me and the major. So it was a long and happy relationship, and I wouldn't take anything for it. We went around the world and across the United States with the Heels, both football, basketball, wrestling, lacrosse, you name it, we played it. The more things change, the more they stay the same. The French have the phrase "pour le change, pour la même chose." Things will always been the same. Here comes Carolina coming into the stadium. North Carolina was usually the first time out. We resurrected Tar Heels on hand, much to the glee of some of the older alumni. All the school songs, and you play the tag 752 times at a football game. Those things have always remained the same, and it's the enthusiasm and the support that the organization gives to the athletic teams. We're the ones who went to the athletic department when all the other coaches saw the support that we were giving the football team and the basketball team. We started having, that's when we instituted the B pet band. A pet band was basketball and travel. B pet band were freshmen and sophomores who played at wrestling matches, swim meets, lacrosse games, baseball games. Every sport, we supported almost every sport with the band. And that tradition has been maintained, I'm happy to say, with Jeff and the current marching Tar Heels. And it's the enthusiasm of the organization that has been the constant throughout the years. The enthusiasm being good representatives of the university, but also being stalwart supporters of our athletic teams. I mean, you may have heard the story that the major was such a vociferous supporter of the basketball team that I think there's only once in the history of the basketball program that the pep band got a technical, because we were in Greensboro. We played Nebraska in Greensboro with the old Greensboro Coliseum. We were on the ice with the basketball team. We were freezing to death, and we were winning, but the major was working the refs. And about that time, one of the refs came around and popped a technical on the major. Well, a technical in the band, the technical on the band is the technical on the bench. Well, you could have heard a pin drop in the Greensboro Coliseum as Coach Smith walked the length of the bench over to where the major was saved. And I always loved it when Coach Smith would come over and talk to the major. Coach Smith had that wonderful Midwestern nasal twang. And he always went, John. And Coach Major Y would go, I'm so sorry, Coach. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. He went, John, we're winning. It's okay, but let's don't do that again. So that's what I quoted when the Major passed away. I told Woody Durham recounted that story because it's one of the only time it went for many years on the bulletin board at the band office was the slip that the referees turned in that said verbal abuse from the Carolina Pet Band. Anytime that the university needed representation, they called on the Marching Tar Heels or a group from the Marching Tar Heels. We have played funerals. We have played weddings. We have played, the only thing we didn't play was a bar mitzvah, but we have done. We did everything we could to support the university, and that was the Major's philosophy, that there was nothing too small or too grand that we couldn't do to support the university. And I think that's the theme that travels through the entire history of the organization during my lifetime.
What a great trip down memory lane with Allen Reep. And now we're going to go into our performance of the day. We talked a little bit about some of the historic aspects of the performances of the Marching Tar Heels. We're about to look at a performance by the color guard from this year, just here recently on campus in 2020. And Jeff, one of the things they're going to be doing here is, the thing that brings the most pride to my heart when I see the Marching Tar Heels, which is the pregame before a big football game at Keenan Stadium.
Yeah, so they worked during, we're not doing pregame this year, but we felt it was important to teach the new members of the guard and also the returning members the pregame opening sequence, which has been the same for many years. And it's one of those things we don't want them to lose. We want them to keep that in there. And it's also a big part for the kids who will be graduating, that this is something they've done for 4 years, and it's partial muscle memory that we need to get in them so we're not starting from scratch. So yeah, their performance today is going to be of the pregame opening sequence. And then they've also worked up a cute little routine to Happy Kids that we'll tag on the end of that for y'all to see.
Ladies and gentlemen, friends and students, we proudly present the pride of the ACC, the University of North Carolina Marching Tar Heels.
All right, everybody, that's another edition of the Pride of the ACC. So for Jeff Fuchs and our great team, thank you so much for watching again. My name is Adam Pohl, and we'll see you with another episode next week. Have a great week, everyone.